All right, so this is a Twilight special on Wings of Change. I'm Georgette Thomas, life coach, Whispers to Wings of Authenticity. I have a special guest with me, David Lamb, who is also a life coach and is currently studying hypnotherapy. David Lamb, how are you this evening?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I am well, thank you. And I always enjoy our talks.
I
Um,
do. I do as well.
yes. So I'm so happy that you agreed to come on.
Oh, well,
And
thank you.
before we get started, I just wanted um, everyone to know that you are found on Facebook and you do run a group called Uncommon Ground.
Correct.
And recently you have posted transformed hypnotherapy to be your next step in life. Right now, you are certified in NLP. Would that be
Correct.
correct?
That is correct.
So it's a neuro linguistics programming that you're certified in. And
Neuro, yeah,
can you
programming
let,
life.
all right, see, for life coaching. So can you explain to everybody what that is?
Okay. NLP was kind of discovered, I guess, in the 70s
Mm,
by two gentlemen, and it's basically um, the study of how your mind works, how your unconscious mind works, how why you consciously react the way you do to stimuli, to anything. Um, and it's basically the study of changing your programming. Um,
right.
they consider it uh, sort of like your unconscious mind is sort of like a laptop or a hard drive on a computer, and your conscious mind is more like your Windows or your Safari or your Android or iOS.
I like
Uh,
that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it's just the study of basically finding ways to get through, because your mind has a protection, a layer of protection around it, your unconscious mind, between the
Mhm.
unconscious and the conscious. And in NLP, we try to um, break through that barrier and get your unconscious or your subconscious, whichever way you want to call it, mind to change something that was programmed in. In other words,
Okay, so what would that barrier be?
um, it's just a it's
Is it more like a conditioning or are you talking okay,
it is it, yeah, it's not a physical barrier.
okay,
Um, it's an action that your unconscious mind will do.
okay.
Um, it's how you kind of it's why people are so strongly um, believe in things. You know what I'm saying?
How they're wired is what they're taught.
Yes, how they're wired, and the way our minds are built. We Once we are programmed, and after a while of having that programming,
The
uh,
brain automatically searches for that
yes,
connection that we're used to.
yeah, and we get it from the outside world. Like when we're kids, when you're born, you really don't know how to do anything. You do what you have to survive. As far as your unconscious mind knows how to breathe, it learns how to cry fairly quickly. Things like that. Everything else you're taught, or you kind of teach yourself out of necessity. But you get to a certain age, around toddler's age or whatever, is when you really start to program it. And your mind actually, I'm sure you know that it works on a higher frequency when you're young.
Yes.
Um, and I think nature designed it that way,
Yeah.
so that you can take in a lot and learn things a lot.
Like a sponge.
Yeah, like a sponge. And
You
we don't
remember
really,
that from school days? They would say, get
yeah,
your thinking caps on. Remember that?
yep, exactly.
Get your thinking caps on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you learn how to talk from your parents or whoever, is raising you, and you learn your alphabet, your numbers, and then you start learning your religion, if they take you to church, or uh, and unfortunately you do learn some things from TV, and basically whatever you're exposed to as a child is kind of how you set up how
You're
you're
getting a
going.
lot of input as a child because you have a very clean and clear slate.
Absolutely.
So you have that ability to really focus,
Yes.
and you have that interest, that excitement, that
You do.
wonderment, right? That
Yeah.
innocence.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Because you
yeah,
really don't have any responsibilities.
no
So you don't
stress.
know what
Yeah,
responsibility is yet. You're
right.
learning, when you're being told you have to pick up your toys and things like that.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
some parents, everybody's different and everybody's taught differently and brought up differently. But until then, you really can absorb things. And it is really important as a parent to be careful of what you do in front of your kids, because they don't realize they're doing it, but they will copy things you do,
Correct.
good and bad. Your unconscious mind can't. That's the thing. Your unconscious mind, and even now as an adult, um, it doesn't process negatives.
Mm.
It processes ideas. It brings in ideas, but it doesn't distinguish a negative idea. It will think something's bad if you are taught that it's bad. But as an idea, if you tell your child, a very small child, don't pick that up, their unconscious mind hears pick that up, or they think the idea of picking it up. They're not thinking
So
the
you're planting a seed and
correct.
you don't even realize it. Like,
Yeah,
that's hot, don't touch.
correct.
And a lot of children, they just have to touch.
I took mine to the hospital because he burnt his hands and they had to get wrapped. And
There
oh
you
yeah,
go. Yeah, that's a big one.
but yeah,
Hmm.
things like that. And it's not that they don't understand you saying no. It's that you're planting an idea in their mind of spilling the milk or going in the room you're not supposed to go in. And there's a chance that the curiosity might get to them and say, I wonder what it's like. Do you know what I mean? So and that's why
And they're
NLP.
very curious creatures,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's why in NLP we always we talk about reframing a lot. And I'm sure just in coaching in general.
Correct.
Uh,
Reframing, rewiring.
yeah. And
And
part of
something that I love about NLP, and I'm going to interrupt you here real quick, is that I love how you do teach self-awareness as life coaches do, which of
yeah,
course is a big deal. But
absolutely.
I also read that it's used today a lot for learning disabilities,
Yes.
because usually for life coaching, it's addictions and things like that. We're trying to rewire and focus on, making a plan and setting goals. But
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is actually used more for learning disabilities.
It really is because people learn differently.
They
Um,
do.
there's a
And
lot
this
of
is something that I feel the education system is
is
finally catching up to.